So I am very interested in hearing what you have to say and what you have to share about the practice of mindfulness. In particular, the research that you did when you wrote your upcoming book, The Mindful Brain. But I'd like to start off with just a general question, some background and context. From a scientific perspective, can you define what mindfulness is?
Sure. Well, mindfulness from a scientific point of view has been defined a number of ways, but basically it's being aware of what's happening as it's happening and not being swept up by judgments or expectations. So it's as being as close to living in the moment as you can get. That's what being mindful and being mindful aware entail.
And can you give a description about the distinction between mind and brain?
Sure. Well, this is a huge question. What's the distinction between mind and brain? And one way of thinking about it is that the brain is a collection of neurons. Most of them are in the skull, but when I use the term brain, I mean the extended nervous system that goes throughout the entire body. But usually people just mean the skull-based nervous system. And the mind is our subjective experience of thoughts and feelings, our intentions, our hopes, our dreams. And this subjective experience also has a very core aspect to it, which is that we regulate how energy and information flow through how we pay attention. So the mind has not only memory and thinking and feelings, but it also has this very important aspect of how you direct your attention when you have awareness of something with a certain quality to it, and that influences how energy and information flow in your inner world, and it turns out it also influences how energy and information flow through the circuits of the brain itself.
And we, I suppose, have control over this nebulous concept, mind.
Yeah, well, we certainly sometimes do and sometimes don't. It's a beautiful thing about mindful awareness practice like yoga or meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, centering prayer, is that you're doing a practice where you're becoming aware of your awareness and you're paying attention to your intention. Those are the two fundamental experiences we have in common across all mindfulness practices: awareness of awareness and attention to intention. And when we do that, we're actually strengthening the circuits in our brain by using the power of our mind to direct attention in a certain way. So in neuroscience, they often talk about the mind being just the activity of the brain. But now we've come to realize, in fact, that you can use your mind, the focus of your attention that drives energy and information flow a certain way, in certain ways that can actually make your brain fire in a certain fashion and then rewire in a certain way that's for health.
So does that mean that through mindfulness practices, if we can use a metaphor of a muscle, that the mind is like a muscle and we can reshape the brain?
I think that's absolutely right. And, in the standard breath awareness practice, you focus on your breath and then your mind gets distracted and then you realize you're distracted and you refocus on the breath. That's like contracting the muscle, relaxing the muscle, contracting it. So basically what you have is the ability to strengthen the muscle of the mind, if you will. There's no actual muscle, of course, but it's a skill to strengthen your ability to focus your attention.
Now, has all this research about mindfulness inspired a curiosity in you to actually practice some of these techniques?
It has. The book that I actually wrote 2 years ago is called The Mindful Brain. I have a new book coming out called Mindsight. And so for the Mindful Brain book, to really learn about this, for me, which was a very new field, I got immersed in a lot of practices of mindfulness. And so my daily life, I try as best I can to have a regular practice. I see a mindfulness practice, whether it's Tai Chi or yoga or just meditation, as a form of daily brain hygiene. So just like we brush our teeth every day, I think doing a mindfulness practice really should be thought of as daily brain hygiene. And when we think of it that way, then it's not that you just do it once a a week or once a year. You want to do it on a daily basis, just like you brush your teeth every day.
Now, I always think of yoga and Buddhist practices as a science of experience, that it gives you techniques, but it's intended for the person who practices to have a certain experience, and that experience is what we experience as truth or as true. So from your experience, what are some of the benefits that you've gained personally from a mindful practice?
Well, some of the things I've noticed are that I feel more at ease with things that used to make me more anxious or worried. So I find I have more what's called equanimity, balance in the face of challenges. That's pretty cool. Another thing is I'm much more open to and almost feel more texture of my body. So all sorts of things that go on with the body, from just walking down the street to, eating a meal, the sensory experience of what's going on in my body is much more available to my every moment-to-moment experience. So that's made life even richer. And I think the other thing is that I've felt that there's a richer quality of feeling connected to other people that come along with, I think, these increased sensory experiences with others, and that's been really rewarding. So the emotional balance, the bodily awareness, the interpersonal connection, all those have been enhanced, and that's just in my subjective world. I mean, there's also studies that show that not only do these things happen in most people that do mindfulness practice, but also your immune system improves, your blood pressure is made better, your ability to heal from physical trauma